Good evening, everyone, or a good day, depending from where you are watching from. Right, my name is Divine Marufu, and today's topic is privatization. So, we're going to look at what is privatization. We're going also to look at what are the advantages of privatization and what are the disadvantages of privatization. Today's lesson is sponsored by Brand Champion Private Limited, a company which is based in Harare, which offers company registration services as well as tax consultants and branding services. So you can get in touch with them on the numbers which are going to appear on the screen below. Right. To start with, let's start with the definition of what is privatization. Right, privatization is the sale of state-owned enterprises to the private sector. All right, so if we're having privatization, we are talking about sale of government-owned enterprises, and these ones being sold to the private sector. So conversion of government-owned entities to private entities. Now, if you are looking at in Zimbabwe, we have entities which were privatized. For example, we have Dairy Board Zimbabwe Limited, which used to be under Dairy Marketing Board. We also have Cotton Company of Zimbabwe, which is now known as Cotton Company of Zimbabwe. All right, it was formerly Cotton Marketing Board, which was a public corporation. We also have the commercialization. It's not properly privatization, but POSB, post post People's Own Servicing Bank, POSB, was commercialized. Same applies to CMED. Same applies to Tier 1. Those ones were commercialized. So commercialization is similar to privatization in that the entity will be operating as more of a private enterprise. That is the point. Right, so now we know what is privatization, and what we now need to discuss are the arguments which are there for privatization. The first and foremost thing is privatization will bring revenue to the state or to the government. So privatization will give the government revenue, right? So that is the first benefit. Privatization, when it occurs, the sale of shares. Shares are sold on either on the stock exchange or through various means, and when that is done, there is revenue which the government will get. And then privatization has been seen that it also brings efficiency in the market. Right? So the manner and way in which private enterprises are run is totally different from the manner in which public entities are run. So for that reason, when we have privatization, efficiency is improved. And that increase in efficiency has a number of benefits in terms of competition. So privatization will allow that there are new players who will enter into the market and start also offering the same service. And when they are offering the same service, there is reduced price due to competition. So the stiffy competition which is carried out by private players results in reduced prices. Other than reduced prices, we will also have the increased the product variety. So the number and variety of products which are produced will also increase as new players are allowed to enter into the market. The other benefit of privatization is that it reduces the burden on the taxpayers. Remember, most of public entities or parastatals, they make losses, and to fund or finance these losses, the government takes the funds from um, the country's purse. All right, so the losses are funded from the national budget. So once the entities are now private enterprises, that results in a situation where those private enterprises will become independent. They will stand on their own. And when they are standing on their own, that on its own improves um, efficiency. And as they become efficient, they start to make profits. All right. Private enterprises are formed mainly to ensure that they make profits. So if a private company is not making profits, it will definitely then be closed. So that is what also do happens. Now let's look at the disadvantages of privatization. One of the disadvantages of privatization is private players, they have the short termism, and they also have the profit motive aspect. Private enterprises, they are in business to ensure that they make profits. So prices for products or services which are offered by um, privatized entities are likely to increase after privatization, and that may increase the rate of inflation within the short to medium term. All right, so as we privatize an entity, the prices for goods and services might also increase, and as the price of goods and services increase, the consumers are the ones who suffer as they have to fork out more. Right, so the other disadvantage is that when an entity is privatized, the government will lose future revenue which it could get from those privatized entities in terms of profits. So we might privatize an entity, but once the entity has been privatized, the future revenues which that company is supposed to get will diminish or will be reduced. All right, so the future revenues will be diminished or reduced. So that one is a disadvantage on its own, as there is loss of future revenue. And the other disadvantage of privatized entities is that there might be circumstances or situations where those privatized entities might end up becoming also monopolies, right? So it might prevent some new entrants to enter into the market and become a monopoly. All right, then there's a challenge with the provision of public services or public goods. There are some services which should be provided within the society, not that they make profit, but they are essential. Here we are talking examples of such things as healthcare, education, transport. And you'll find that in most of the cases, these services like rail transport, bus service, might not necessarily give more profits. But once that industry or sector is privatized, it prevents a number of challenges to the consumers. So it might increase inequalities between the incomes within the society, as other individuals will become high income earners and other individuals will become low income earners. All right. Then the other disadvantage of privatization is that it might also result in job losses. So private players are likely to cut on the the extra workforce which might have been employed on political grounds. So that results in um, unemployment due to the fact that the private players have a profit motive, and for that reason they don't hire more workers. All right, so that is a disadvantage of privatization. Right, so we would like to thank our sponsors, Brand Champion Zimbabwe, Brand Champion Private Limited, whose numbers are 0776 751 735. Right, until next lesson, cheers for now.